it's out of our control. It's not like he wants to kill. He just doesn't want to die. You know what I'm saying? It's that situation when we are living in a war zone. I feel like I can represent my generation so much because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. But now, I cannot die. I can't leave until this shit's straight. You know, I'm not suicidal. I can't go until y'all really know what time it is. And then after that, boom, it's all over. And we can see, how this fall. But that's how it is. And the reason being is because if I can't live free, if I can't live with the same respect as the next man, I don't want to be here. Because God has cursed me to see what life should be like.
I said we ain't no loafers, we ain't no poachers, we ain't no haters of self, we ain't no vultures. This ain't our culture. I said this ain't our culture. I said we ain't no loafers, we ain't no poachers, we ain't no haters of self, we ain't no vultures. This ain't our culture.
I said this ain't our culture. All right, we in there. Just I'll be having to do my little run through my sound check, make sure everything copacetic twice. All right, because when I do it behind the scenes and then when I start, it'd be a whole different show. But top of the top, happy Malcolm Tuesday. Happy Malcolm Tuesday to y'all. First of all, let's go ahead and kick this little disclaimer off real quick. You tapped into the top of the top with King Philip, where we talk about the issues that happens and goes on within our community that we're not supposed to talk about. All right. So with that being said, too, I didn't have to go out and do a whole lot of research to back up my claims. All right. I didn't have to. Hey, let me live. All right. I did not have to go out and my lived experience make me the research. Our lived experiences make us the experts. All right. We didn't have to go out and do the research. All right. So I'm also saying too, if I say something specifically that make y'all feel some kind of way, please take the time to reevaluate why what was said made you feel that way. All right. Because I ain't got the time for it. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? I'm tired of looking at y'all sideways and y'all still looking at me other sideways trying to get my attention type shit. But if you have not, check out the Make a Chess Move page. All right. The website, check that thing out. We gonna smooth through this one. All right. /Malcolm303 on the Facebook.com. /Malcolm303 on the Instagram. /Malcolm303 on that Twitter thing. And we got that Pinterest booming too. You know what I mean? /Malcolm303. And you can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com /C /Malcolm303. I'm trying to get my backslashes right. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know what I mean? If you're on the IG, if you need some East first, some Bells first, some ACO first, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to do to represent, the East End vision at the end of the day, tap into the IG on East End Apparel. You know what I mean? Go ahead and do that. And go ahead and tap into the Gems for Queens. You know what I mean? We can lace you and jewel you. You intended? All right. So that's where we moving. That's how we grooving. All right. So first of all, just to put it out there too, everything that I talk about is not currently happening to me. Is not something that is happening to me or has happened to me, but I do have permission to share these stories. All right. Some of it is happening to me. It's now. It could be in the past, however it is, and I'm still like blown away that, I was told to talk about the positive stuff that we do in our community. All right. So, and that was the same week when I was talking about the homie who got his business, who got the meal ticket. He got a meal ticket, and we right around the corner from each other type shit when we grew up. So he got a meal ticket. I shared that story and stuff like that. So and the story was, highlighting him and his meal ticket, but it was also highlighting. Boom, I think we still live in that thing. Shoot, fuck you mean? All right. It done cut me out real fast. You know what I mean? But hey, like I was saying too, he was, that was crazy. I don't know what the fuck that shit was about. You know what I mean? I ain't even getting to nothing juicy. Goodness, technology. But just the story was, he couldn't get to that M with us. And when I mean with us, I was the first one and another white dude on his advisory board when he had first started. It was the three of us, you know what I mean? So long story short, we grew the board to about 6, his advisory board to about 6. All of us black except for the one white dude. Me and the other white dude was the only ones that was always on time, ready. What I mean by ready, we read the documents, we read what we were supposed to do so we can be prepared in this meeting, right? Right. All right. So and y'all know when I say right, y'all supposed to say right, right? Right. All right, we there. All right. So I'm saying all that to say too that the other black folks and Mexicans that he had on this advisory board that wasn't ready, he realized that he couldn't get there with that board. So he started reaching out and connecting more to his white homies, his white friends and stuff like that he went to college with. All right. And once he started bringing in, he switched the dynamics of his board, where I was the only black dude on the board, on his advisory board, and everybody else was white. After he made that dynamics, after he switched that is when he hit that M. So I highlighted him, and I also highlighted the fact that, when black folks serve in these positions, they don't take it as serious, or they don't take it how they should. I'm going to say that. They don't take the seriousness of these roles and the responsibilities that come with these roles serious. All right. So, I was told to talk about more positive, and that was that episode. That was that, you know what I mean? So the following episode, I talked about Weldon Street, you know what I mean? A hood pillar, you know what I mean? Man, what is going on with this computer real fast? All right. So it's a hood pillar. All right. And, service the community. I just found out 34 years. I said it was over 30 years. You know what I mean? I just wasn't sure how long, so I was ballparking it. But 34 years, been on the east side on the points from Mona's Wings and Teams to, what they are right now. And I've shared that at plenty of our events. I lost count all the times that they've shared and they've donated wings, them honey hots, to one of our events. I've lost count literally, for between Youth Biz, Project Voice, and between Youth Biz, Project Voice, and Malcolm. They used to donate like, y'all need some honey hots? I used to come to them, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got you. Just let us know. So I'm saying all that to say too that they weren't just one of the businesses in the communities that was take. They were also giving. All right. But the bullshit behind that, if y'all haven't seen and recently, they are getting ready to close their doors because the building that they're in has issues. All right. And the building that they're in is owned by black folks with money. All right. That elite. You know what I mean? So I talked about that right there. So this week, I'm just giving y'all little pathways to where we are right now and the direction I'm getting ready to shift to personally. Today I posed a question: what does white support do for black movements, for black businesses? I posed that question. I posed a question a few weeks ago that if you get more white supporters, if you're a black business owner, black nonprofit, and if you get more white support than you get of your own, what does that say? What does that say? And with me, I've been very close-minded to working with folks who's not us, period. I'm gonna just put it like that. Even from the schools that we go into, you know what I mean? Because Thornton, Westminster, the fuck out there, they want us. They ready to pay us. But not to say that there ain't none of us out there. I'm just saying, East Side baby. East Side baby. All right. Cheers to you. All right. Saying all that to say that. But nah, they want us out there, but I'm so specific to the need and our focus and stuff like that. But I'm starting to pose that question. I'm starting to pose that question because even when we look at a lot of the COINTELPROs that's happened, it's been directed from white folks, but it was always black folks who was doing the shit. All right. Looking at when Malcolm, when we had a fiscal sponsor, this is probably about maybe I'm gonna say five years ago. I was being personally attacked by another black man in the community, saying that Malcolm wasn't a real organization. That he looked me up and found out that I'm not a real nonprofit organization. He couldn't find me when he looked me up. He telling people that I'm scamming the people and all this other shit. And I'm like, man, that was crazy just to hear that and get attacked from our own. Just to get attacked from our own. You know what I mean? So I'm even looking at, even when it comes to the community working in our communities. When these babies is out here getting killed or getting shot down, it ain't these white folks that's out here doing it to us. Y'all see where I'm going, right? If you don't see where I'm going, you know what I mean? Somebody tell me what's the harm in working with white folks? I mean, I can see. I already know. That's like a rhetorical question. But how? More specifically, I don't have a lot of experience working with white folks. I would say that. All right. No, I do not have a lot of experience when it comes to working with white folks. I don't know how they expect me to talk to them intimate, but I'm gonna go to them and I'm gonna be like in intimate. And if they don't intimate, then I don't know what to tell them. So, sure, I don't know what to tell them. I don't have a lot of experience working with white folks, and I already have a very lack of trust nature. Um, but I do see a lot of black folks who do, um, a lot of black organizations, a lot of black ran, black started, black founded, all of that, black ethos, black centered, um, who got a very heavy white leadership base. When I talk about leadership base, I'm talking about board, fundraising, attendees that show up to events, that part. Where when I look at these events that y'all host and post online, I don't see none of us, but the work is supposed to be for us. I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's for us, to be honest with you. But I'm asking that question again. What is the harm? Not the harm. I'm a rephrase that question. How do you work with white folks considering the potential harm? All right, that's the question. I'm even put that. I'm even put that thing in there. How do you work? How do we? How do we work with white folks effectively, considering the potential harm that could come with it? All right, I'm gonna add that. That's the question that I'm gonna navigate real fast. How do we work with white folks effectively, considering the potential harm that comes with it? And what I mean by potential harm is exactly what I'm just saying. You know, with these white folks who's giving these black organizations 90% of their funding, they're showing up and they're 90% of the audience. You know, what does that do to the organization? What does that do to the leadership in the organization? You know what I mean? What is the harm? All right. Does that take away the black trust? I'm even gonna shift too as well. Like how do we work with the police effectively, considering the potential harm that comes with that as well? All right. So we're gonna look at both of those, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to working with white people and working with the police, that shit even sounds suspect when I even say it. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some shit that's always, you know what I mean, like in the back of your head, suspect. And that's just me and my own personal point of view. All right, that's just me and my own personal point of view. Because my experience with white folks has not been good, and my experience with white folks come from, you know, police, getting sent to the feds, court, you know, traffic tickets, having to deal with those white folks. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like a good type of experience that I've had with white folks. All right, saying all that to say that. But again, how do we work effectively with white folks, considering the potential harm? Is it possible? Like I said, I'm not white folk savvy. You know what I mean? I don't tell very good white jokes. I don't laugh at white jokes because them shits ain't funny. So how do we effectively work with white folks, you know what I mean, considering the potential harm? All right. How do we effectively work with white folks considering the potential harm? That's the question. Effectively, though. Is it possible? Because again, I'm gonna add too, you know, a lot of these police and a lot of these people, you can tell where they are and where they stand when you ask them simple questions. All right. So I was talking to this black police officer last week. I thought, you know, my first interaction with him, you know, I'm like, man, he sounds like he's a pretty cool fella. You know what I mean? I'm looking at him as a fella, as a black man first. So that was my first interaction with him. All right. Me not seeing his agenda is already, that seed is already planted, the direction, everything that he want to do, and his goal with me is already planted. You know what I mean? So me, I'm just like just seeing him as a person. You know what I mean? Me being fucking Philip. Um, I hit him up the other day. I asked him. I'm like, basically, I'm like, look, I have a youth that I can invest 30,000 in. Can y'all match? Can the Denver Police Department match what I'm putting out there? Because this youth right here, the summer hasn't started, but this youth will have a whole lot of influence to the violence that's going to go down in the summer. I'm not telling them what youth or who. I'm just telling them I have a youth that I have 30,000 that I can pay, but 30,000 is not enough. Make 30,000 in 2, 3, 4 days, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, these folks who's out there, they don't realize too when they selling these and moving it by the key and stuff like that. All that is going right back to who you bought it from, just so you can re-up. Like all that shit, all that extra shit y'all out here doing, trying to slide the money down your arm and all that. That shit's silly as hell. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm saying all that to say, I asked him that question immediately. He said, you know, we're fighting over budget right now. No, I don't know if we're fighting over budget right now. Immediately. He didn't take the time. You know, my thing is because I knew what level of a police officer I was speaking with. All right. So I would have respected you know what, let me go ahead and talk to my higher ups to see if there's something that we can do. Just because of the fact that energy, what I'm putting out there, like the violence that is going to happen in the summer. There's one youth right here. The influence. I'm just saying, make y'all's job a whole lot easier. A whole lot easier. And he was just like, oh, we're fighting over budget. You know, that lets me know, like I said, you can tell people real fast if you just ask real questions that you already know the answer to. I knew what level of police officer he was. I knew he don't have no kind of say when it comes to that decision, when it comes to that. But he can talk to somebody and put it in their ear, you know, because if he's on this level, if he's at this level where he's talking to me, you know, he has somebody. So I'm like, he has somebody's ear. You know what I mean? So, and for him not to move like he should have, you know, that make me pose this question: how do we work with the police effectively, considering the potential harm that comes with it? And when I say potential harm that comes with that is, you know, we looking at the police in our community. We got rats everywhere. We got confidential informants everywhere. We got a snitch. We got a snitch culture that's developed. All right, where snitches are not getting stitches anymore. Snitches are not getting ditches anymore. Snitches are getting riches. Snitches is getting bitches. And snitches is getting dapped up and love from the homies. And y'all niggas tell me I ain't lying. So, I mean, and then at the same time in our own community, they will put that energy out there like, oh, I ain't fucking with you because you be fucking with the police. Or you fuck with the police. There's a gap, there's a bridge that needs to be built over that gap between the police in our community and the black and brown residents. You know, there's a fear that we experience when police approach us or there's some kind of anxiety. I'm gonna say that we don't know what's gonna happen when we are approached or confronted by the police. And not trying to approach that in a manner that's going to build some kind of relationship with the police is not effective. You know, always being on the outside with a I don't fuck with the police attitude is not the move. That's not the wiggle. You know, so Is it possible? Again, I'm asking two questions that we as a culture truly need to identify and need to ask ourselves as organization leaders, because white folks do have agendas. They do like to go back to their all white parties with their white friends and tell them about the black youth who they did this, that, and the third for. They like to tell stories about the youth who shown the most potential or whatever the fuck. They like to give themselves them attaboys. You know what I mean? They like their friends. They like to give their friends to give them their great job. You did good for the minorities, for the BIPOCs, for them niggas. All right, they just can't say that. You did good. They have agendas. That was one end of the spectrum. If there's a way that they can get money from it, you motherfucking right, they gonna get that money. But their intentions is not from the heart. Me personally, I believe a lot of these white folks out here wanting to do the work and wanting to tap in with black folks. The means, the reasons behind why. There's probably about one white dude who I can think of whose heart is in the right place, and I got a hold of him. You know what I mean? But, and I'm not putting this energy out there. I'm not saying Malcolm don't work with white folks. I'm not saying that, because Malcolm has one employee, one full-time employee. All right. Malcolm has one youth white employee part-time, and Malcolm has one white board member. What the fuck you mean? Sure. We in that thing, and all of them solid as shit. You know, bit. So, what I'm putting out there is, right now we're on a trajectory. I mean, it's steady too. It is steady, and that's great. It's not like, you know, a little growth. I mean, it is steady. All right. And right now the board is probably we got a very dope board. We got a great board. And I would say with me building the board up to the highest capacity, because I would say we're probably operating at about a 40% capacity. And that's being dead honest with my board. And we're on this trajectory at 40%. If we were to even get up to 60, 75%, man, I can't imagine what we would be doing. And we're black. You know, the rest of the people on my board are black. All right. I'm just like, if we were to get up to that capacity, you know, what would we be able to do? You know what I mean? But operating at the 40% capacity and us getting to, you know what I mean, us still rising, you know, it just opens my eyes up to, okay, damn, if we was to get up to this capacity, man, we'd be doing our thing. You know what I mean? So, well, so it also got me thinking too, do I need to start looking at white folks to put in power? Do I need to start looking that direction? I don't have an issue or a personal problem with white folks. I just love on my people more. You know what I mean? I try to focus on our people more, and a lot of our issues stem from a lot of systemic and a lot of injustices. All right, that a lot of white folks is is very quiet about because they're comfortable with these injustices. And they're very comfortable. And nobody likes to get shooken up. Nobody likes to get shooken up. So they shh. Even some of these niggas. Shh. And they shh. The higher ups tell them to shh. And they shh. Don't tell nobody. Shh. All right. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know how. Those are the two questions that I'm gonna pose this with. All right. How do we work with white folks effectively, considering the potential harm that comes with it? And the harm that comes with it is the community not seeing you as a part of the community. You don't get the community coming to your events. So that's why more white folks show up to those events. To your original mission of you servicing Black folks and teaching Black folks these skills that you originally started with isn't to Black folks anymore. All right. So, plus there's more potential harms, you know what I mean, when it comes down to it, white folks, they wouldn't mind taking over your shit, period. All right. So there's so many potential harms, but that's not just with white folks, all right? And how do we work with the police effectively, considering the potential harm that comes with that? Being called, you work with the police, you a snitch, y'all's organization is this, that, and the third. How do we work with these people to build these bridges? How do we work with them effectively without getting harmed in the process? I want to see how to get the board up to capacity. Some things I feel like Black folks have a problem with as well, though, like being told what to do, when to do, how to do, whatever. I mean, I don't know, because when it comes to serving in a role like I told you, when I was serving in my advisory position role, I took that shit serious because I realized he looked to me for some type of expertise. He seen me as some kind of an expert in his vision, in his image somewhere, somehow. He saw me as a smart individual. Excuse me. Me personally, I put folks who I can learn and grow from on my board, who I'm always I'm just put it flat, you know what I mean, the dumbest nigga on the board. You know what I mean? Not to say anybody else is, but I'm always surrounded by people who are smarter than me. I'm always trying to learn something. All right. But I just can't sit around and listen to anybody just talk. That's what I tell them. All right, playing them paperback games. So, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm always trying to leave, in terms of next steps now with this podcast. I had toned it down. I had, a lot of folks, they weren't ready for 100, the 100 miles an hour, Philip. It's just going to be, let's do this way, and that's going to be it. That's it. I'm toned it down in another direction, and still having the good conversations. But it's just, it's disheartening. You know what I mean? It just lets me know the level of complacency that folks are okay with. And I'm not okay with it, B. Fuck the soy sauce, B. Yeah, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay. All right. But yeah, I ain't got nothing else for y'all, man. This is another episode, you know what I mean? Top of the top, where we talk about these things in Timbit. All right. But tap into one of these things right here, you know what I mean? Like I said, check out one of them pages, they doing their thing. All right, but we got some big moves shaking too. We got some very, very, very big moves shaking. I can't say nothing yet, but the last time I said something, you know what I mean? Man, yeah, but Pete.